So if your Mormon friend is really a Christian just like you, does that mean that you believe God was not always God? They're assuming that you think or believe that God was not always God. Joseph Smith, like I said, the founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, taught this. It should be on the screens. We have imagined and supposed that God was God from all eternity. I will refute that idea and take away the veil, so that you may see these are incomprehensible ideas to some, but they are simple. It is the first principle of the gospel to know for a certainty the character of God, and to know that we may converse with Him as one man conversed with another, and that He was once a man like us. The Apostle Orson Hyde said, the apostle in the Mormon Church, he said, "Remember that God our Heavenly Father was perhaps once a child, and mortal like we ourselves, and rose step by step in the scale of progress, and the school of advancement has moved forward and overcome until He has arrived to the point where He is now." And finally, Joseph Smith also taught, God Himself was once as we are now, and is an exalted man. Mormons are not Christians because they teach that God the Father was once a mortal man, and that He has grown up to become an exalted man. The Bible teaches that God was always God. In Hosea 11:9, we find God Himself affirming, "I am God and not man." Numbers 3:23-19 tells us that God is not a man that He should lie, nor a son of man that He should change His mind. Christians believe that the Bible teaches that God is unchangeable. He does not change. He has never changed, and He will never change. Psalms 102 says, "In the beginnings you laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you remain. They will all wear out like a garment, like clothing. You will change them, and they will be discarded, but you remain the same, and your years will never end." God existed before the heavens and the earth were made, and He will exist long after they have been destroyed. God causes the universe to change, but He stays the same. Malachi 3:6 says, "I, the Lord, do not change." It cannot be any clearer than that, can it? God's being does not change. God's perfections do not change. God's purposes do not change, and God's promises do not change. God was always God and will always be God. If God could change, if you can imagine a God that does change, it would mean that He could change for the better or the worse. That would mean that He was not the best possible God when we first trusted Him. And how can you be sure that He's the best possible God now if He changes? If God could change for the worst, then what kind of God would He become? Would He become a little bit evil? Would He become fully evil? If God could change, I think that is one of the worst imaginable worlds or eternities that we could live in, is an eternity where God could change for the better or the worse.